call be vitiated.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, keeping the government open is a fundamental responsibility of elected officials. Always needs to be bipartisan, and today that requires cooperation by the Democrats. Right now, the Democrats are threatening once again to shut down the government of the United States. We are trending toward another Schumer government shutdown. Democrats are in the minority in the Senate. They're in the minority in the House, yet they have come up with what to me looks like a half-hearted bait-and-switch plan. It's a plan that's designed to attempt to deceive the American people. Democrats are trying to avoid being blamed for their reckless obstruction. The American people are not going to be deceived, Mr. President. Let's be clear. The Schumer plan is a shutdown plan. It's far from a clean extension of current funding. In fact, it's a Trojan horse packed with reckless and radical liberal fantasies. It's not serious, and the Democrats know it. The Democrats want a ransom payment of over $1 trillion to keep the government open for just 4 weeks. So let's take a look at it. There's more than $1 trillion in more spending in what the Democrats are proposing. At the same very time, they are proposing eliminating the $50 billion Rural Hospital Stabilization Fund. It's a lifeblood for rural hospitals in my communities and in your communities, Mr. President. The Schumer shutdown plan reads like a draft of the future platform for the 2028 Democrat National Convention. Their COVID bonus payments, this is in spite of the fact that COVID crisis ended years ago. Liberal states are being rewarded for giving taxpayer-funded health care to illegal immigrants. They want able-bodied working-age individuals who refuse to work to continue to getting Medicaid. Remember, these work requirements are overwhelmingly supported by hard-working Americans of all political persuasions. They want to send taxpayer dollars overseas to pay for climate projects. This is fantasy land. They want taxpayer dollars to keep going towards $40 million for low-emissions development in West Africa. They want taxpayer dollars to keep going towards $25 million for climate resilience in Honduras. They want the taxpayer dollars to keep going towards $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe. Democrats have a long and spirited history of wasting American taxpayer dollars. This plan is no different. The Schumer shutdown plan seems designed to score political points on the far, far left. This is a clarifying moment for the American people. Democrats know they can't have any hope of passing this fantasy plan. They know it, and they know it because they want government to close. Republicans are proposing a clean, short-term extension of funding designed to keep the government open and functioning. A clean, short-term continuing resolution would easily pass the Senate in normal times. A clean CR keeps the government open. A clean CR gives appropriators from both parties the time to complete their work in regular order. Let me point out that the Appropriations Committee is already producing bipartisan bills. Let me also point out that under Joe Biden, Democrats supported 13 short-term continuing resolutions to keep the government open, and 96% of them voted for them. So times really are different under this Democrat leadership in their efforts to obstruct this president. Democrats once again are putting politics ahead of the essential work of governing. Senator Schumer is clearly making unreasonable demands, knowing that his proposal can never pass the Senate. All that Republicans are proposing is to continue to fund the government for the next 7 weeks. This is going to allow us to continue the appropriations process and keep the government open during that time. Senator Schumer himself said last year that passing a clean CR will avert a harmful and unnecessary shutdown. Now he wants to cause a harmful and unnecessary shutdown. At that time, he said passing a clean CR gives appropriators time to finish drafting all 12 bills. Let me point out that those bills were then stuck in Senator Schumer's drawer, and he kept them there and never brought them to the floor of the United States Senate. He even said back then, he said, if both sides work together, if we reject poison pills, of which his bill now is completely loaded with, if we reject poison pills, he said, that can never become law, then the task before us becomes much, much easier. They want to shut down the government. That's what they're proposing. Senator Schumer needs to listen to his own advice from a year ago, but then he was majority leader. Now they're in the minority. The proposal that he came out with last night is loaded with poison pills, and he knows it. Let me repeat, 13 short-term continuing resolutions under President Biden. Schumer was the majority leader at the time. 96% of Democrats voted for them. Voting yes for a short-term continuing resolution was not considered controversial for the Democrats a year ago. Now, I recognize that the minority leader today has a political problem. His radical base is demanding a government shutdown. They expect it, they insist on it, they command Senator Schumer to deliver that. His political problem may soon turn into a major problem for American families, for our soldiers, for our Border Patrol agents, for seniors living on a fixed income. As senators, our job is to keep the government open, and Senate Republicans are ready to keep the government open. Democrats can either join us or drag the nation into another Schumer shutdown. That's their choice. Mr. President, on a separate matter, the Renewable Fuel Standard program is broken. It is a failed approach to ethanol. It has raised prices for consumers. It has threatened the jobs of American energy workers. And there is cause for concern about its harm to small engines. The Senate is now debating whether to force even higher amounts of ethanol into our fuels. For the sake of American families, for the sake of American workers, we should reject this failed approach, not double down on it. It would only worsen the harm on the current system and lead to more market distortions. We need to fix our broken system instead of favoring special interest groups and forcing consumers to pay higher prices. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.